Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday live stream. And what a Tuesday it is. So we've got a lot of things to go over. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? So today, as we have all been checking our portfolios and taking a look at the price action, we know that this has not been or has not been a good day so far. Although it is really how you look at it. If you look at it like, hey, I'm getting these massive discounts, great. If you're looking at it like this is the first leg of us going down to negative 40%, 50%, 80% across the board, then this is probably not so good because there are some people out there that are extremely fearful. And I can understand, especially if this is your first rodeo, especially in the crypto digital asset space. And I actually said this last night, and I knew this with 100% assurance, it was going to be bad and it was going to be explosive. And if you happen to ever meet up with me, ask me why I knew this, that it was going to be an explosive night, because I was 100% sure based on some information that I had. And it really came down to just asking people. I mean, part of it was I did this, we just did a poll right now, which hopefully you can all answer that. Did you take any profits? But I asked the question, what's the reason for the dump today? And we can make a whole heck of a lot of assumptions about why this is. Really what it comes down to, the basics is there are more sellers than buyers. And there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. And some will just say, just show me the chart and I'll show you what's going to happen. And TA experts can do a pretty good job. And then some people can say, oh, it's not just the TA, it's actually, what is the stellar and the constellations doing? And how is everything in alignment? And is Mercury in retrograde? And also, besides that hoo-ha stuff, what's the macro? What are the things that are going on with our economy itself? What about the Fed? And it all really comes together, and we're just at a loss. So this poll was about, a couple hours ago or so. And so far we got about almost 1,000 votes. And it looks like people are concerned with mostly manipulation. Crazy, who would have thunk that? Some people say just part of the cycle, which I still believe it is. I know there are some people, and this is growing, where they're saying the cycle's over, buddy. And we are going into a bear market, and it's going to be very long. And it's not going to be 4-year cycles. It's going to be 8-year cycles. We'll see. So if you come down to it about why this all happened, there's a good place to start. And of course, you can always just say, well, this is just part of it. Let's just take a look at what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's the same thing repeating itself. I think there's a little bit of nuances than that. This is from the Kobeissi letter. They're great. You guys should follow these guys. I need to link them in the description. But really good about what's happening so far. And there's really 5 or 6 reasons here. The current situation is like this. Stocks are falling like the trade war is officially back. And I was like, that's interesting, because I thought we just stopped that, didn't we? Didn't Trump race across the aisle to the Mexican president, also to Justin Trudeau, and say, hey, help us protect the borders and everything will be just fine. It'll be fantastic. The only one I have to put tariffs on is China. But we'll take a look. So stocks are falling. U.S. dollar is falling like the trade war is over. And that's a funny thing, because there are some opposite ends of what are happening. So on one side, you got stocks are falling like the trade war is back. The other side, the U.S. dollar is falling, the trade war is over. Crypto is falling, the bear market just started. Treasury yields are falling like the rate cuts are back and everything's going to be just fine. Oil prices are falling like we're entering a recession, but gold is falling like we're on track for a soft landing. Everything is in decay. But really what it comes down to is this, and it's said very well. This is simply a rush to the headlines, to the sidelines. And I can get behind that. So let's take a look at that. First of all, is that true? Is traditional stocks, equities going down? Yes, it looks like in the last day or so, we're down a whopping negative 0.33%. If you went down 1, 2, or 3% in the S&P 500 or NASDAQ, that would be like game over. For us, that is just a Tuesday. And we can see over a continuum, over 5 days, 1 month, it hasn't been too good. S&P is really topped out on February 19th, roughly a week ago. Over 6 months, okay, you got me. It's looking pretty good. Over 1 year, all right. In 5 years, oh, absolutely. It's looking great. So again, sometimes time in the market is better than timing the market, but we try to take profits along the way, right? But that question bugged me, or that statement bugged me, I should say. The trade war is officially back. Is that true? I guess it is. Here's Presidente Donald Trump and he's going to tell you why that's happening and why everything is just in time. And just take a listen. This is about 30, 40 seconds or so. Here you go.
We're on time with the tariffs, and it seems like that's moving along very rapidly. We've been mistreated very badly by many countries, not just Canada and Mexico.
On time means March 4th for Canada.
Yeah, there you go, March 4th. So that's coming up right around the bend. So what happened? Thank you so much for helping us secure the borders. Now we're going to put tariffs on you. So I'm going to leave that to the people that are into the socioeconomics, and they can answer that question, because I am not a political scientist. I'm not going to pretend to be, so we'll let them sort that out. But this is one of the reasons why the market is spooked. It's like, great, now we got another trade war. We thought we were going to get out of this 30 days, but it looks like Trump's going to move forward. We'll see how it works out. So we have that part. But what about the dollar? Well, if you take a look at the Dixie, which is the strength of the dollar against a basket of other currencies, we can see that over the last day, it has been declining. Not too much. And we can see that the dollar strength is 106.76. Today, 106.28. So in 24 hours, it's not too bad. What about 5 days? Okay, that's not looking too good. Now we have 107.34. And then if we go back to a month or so, okay, now there's a degradation over a month. What about 6 months? What about 3 months? It was actually worse 3 months ago, actually 2 months ago, on December 6, 2024. And as a reminder, and you can look this up historically speaking, as the strength of the dollar goes up, Bitcoin usually is in decline. As the dollar strength declines, the strength of Bitcoin goes up. And that has happened across the board. It doesn't happen perfectly every single time, but you can see that as there's been a degradation of the strength of the dollar, Bitcoin has also degraded and has also been a reduction. So things are just really not lining up. Then, of course, if we take a look at our markets, we are below the $3 trillion market cap. So congratulations, we did it. And again, it's all how you look at this. Do you look at this as like, this is the worst thing of all time? Or do you think like, hey, maybe this is good opportunity? Or maybe you just think to yourself, I'm not doing anything. Maybe things are going to be even worse, which they very well could be. We could, and I've heard levels of 82,000 for Bitcoin and different testing of different support levels. Sure, maybe it could. But again, as we take a look as time goes on, nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows exactly where it is. But I can just tell you that I can see why the market is a little spooked, and they're all over the place. And then also, there's another piece here. Treasury yields are falling like rate cuts are back. And this is very strange. Because if we take a look over here at the end of the Cryptoverse, again, I'm going to steal some information from Ben's website. Here's a Treasury yield curve. And usually what it's supposed to look like, this is back in 2010. Everything's good. T-bills, treasuries. And you would think that as you take out these treasuries, the percentages go up because you're holding it for a longer time. That's normal. That's normal stuff, right? This is how it looks over time. 2010, those are good years. 2011, 2012, good times. 13, 14, strong economy. A little bit of something coming up here in 2018. And then actually we have this thing called a recession. And then all of a sudden there is a little bit of a inversion. And now it gets wonky. This is not how it's supposed to be. Not when things are going pretty good. Now you've got the 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, which has a higher interest rate than say like the 10-year or the 20-year or the 30-year. But then, and we've been in this for quite some time, but just recently, boop, we've switched it over. It's still a little wonky, but this looks like the Treasury yield curve is saying, hey, maybe the Fed might actually give us a soft landing. So that could be good. Maybe we're going to avoid this recession. Wink, wink, nod, nod. I don't know. But that's what it's saying. And on top of that, they also talked about oil prices. And usually, when oil prices go down, this is historically speaking, you can make an argument for both ways. Oil prices go down because there is a recession looming. Usually during a recession, not so much gas is being used, there's not much growth going on. So gas prices tumble a little bit. And there's not as much growth economically. So gas is not being used as much as, say, as we are building and new infrastructure, moving things around. Gas just goes down a little bit usually in a recession time frame, unless, of course, we print money like crazy. Then, of course, people that produce the oil just go, hey, I'm going to get on that because money printing, baby. But right now, we got a reduction. So again, it looks like, are we going for a recession? But if we were going for a recession, wouldn't gold be going up? Because that's a safe asset, right? You get away from the risky stuff and you go to the safe stuff. And if you go to the safe stuff, this has been around, and Peter Schiff will tell you. He'll tell you all day long, talk your ear off. It's been around for thousands of years. This is what people get into from the risk on assets, such as crypto, Bitcoin, digital assets, even technology, going into the more stable, which would be gold treasuries. But that's not the case here. Gold price is also down. So then we take a look at, if all these things are going, it just comes down to a little pandemonium. And if we take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, and I just was perusing this today, I did not know that there was such a big sell-off going on. BlackRock has been one of the institutions that are just consistently on the net inflow. They're not selling as much as, say, these guys over at Grayscale, look at that. Look at all the red. That's what they do. That's fine. It's their right. But, BlackRock's been pretty staunch in educating their customers and buying this up. And you see there wasn't too much, except for like 12th of February. Looks like there was, what is this, millions? 22 million worth. Then 20th of February, 112 million. And then just yesterday, this is the biggest, 158 million. Usually when I open this up, I don't see BlackRock selling anything. So if that's the case, what do they know? What's coming down the pipe? I'm not for sure if this is just one of those days or one of those weeks or one of those months. But that's some concerning news, and we'll see. However, on another note, nothing goes up forever, nothing goes down forever. Actually, that's not true. Things can go down forever. It's called bankruptcy. But for our markets, and people are going to trot this out. They're going to say, but it's okay because the last bull run was pretty crazy, which it was. But remember just how much pullbacks we had when we went from, February 2021 to March, or around that time, 25%. And then we went up 89%, then 22, and so on. I mean, you can read. I don't have to point this out to you. And look, these things happen. And look at these swings over just a couple of months. 65% down, you betcha. And 43% up. And then in like 2 weeks, 24% down, up 49, down 13. And that's in the bull run. What did that look like the last year? Well, here you go. Everybody's excited until we take a step back. And I remind everybody, it's going to be like this. And it is. Anyhow, going from like January to February, there was a 15% drop off. And you're going to see it went from like 46, 48K, somewhere around there, to sub 30, like 38, 39. Now we rallied back up in March, up 46%. And we crushed ourselves in May 2024 by 25, up 23, down 20, 22. And here's where things get interesting. In a week's time, we go down 21%. Then there's a little bit back and forth. They didn't even chart this out. Then in a 3-day time frame, we dropped 8%. In a 4-day time frame, around November 2024, we dropped 7%. I believe this was right before the presidential election. I can understand that because people were afraid. They didn't know who was going to get it. Now they know. And right after that, we rocketed 45% up. So if you had been like, I'm scared I got to get out, you're missing this. And that's okay, because it's not for everybody. And sometimes you got to take some profits. If you were in profits here and you took profits here, good for you. Fantastic. I mean, you would have missed out here, but I don't care. It's whatever's the best thing for you. I'm not here to lecture anybody. But yeah, 45%. And then it went up. Gosh, I didn't even mark this. And this is like another 18%. And then we dropped 15, up 15, down 9. And just recently, and this is kind of the concerning thing, which is why I think everybody's kind of feeling this way. This has been the biggest drop in the last year. 7, almost 8% one-day drop in Bitcoin alone. Now that's Bitcoin. 7.4% or 24 hours now it's 6.4, but it was roughly almost, yeah, 7%. But there's some other ones in 24 hours down here. These altcoins, shoo, actually not too bad. Stellar 7.5%, Litecoin 7, Hedera 8.6, BitGet. You know, if you take a look at this in the last 24 hours, which one is the worst one? Gosh, almost Bitcoin. How about 30 days? 18%, Ethereum's down 27, XRP 30%. That's quite a drop. Solana 45, 42, 30. So again, as we take a look at this stuff, these things are going to happen. And that's not my big concern, quite honestly. Again, I still think that there are good times ahead. Some people disagree with me and say that, it's over. That was the bull run. Pack it up. Maybe. I just don't see that happening, but I could be wrong. And I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned of is this. It doesn't matter what a great trader you are. It doesn't matter how big of a diamond hands you are. It doesn't matter how well you play the market. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And right now, there are so many hackers out there screwing over hardworking people like yourself and stealing everything from you. And they're doing this to ByBit, which I got to tell you, this was a great response by Ben Zhao, or Ben Zhu. Did I say his name right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. And, you know, they had that $1.4 billion hack, and he handled it great, like a pro, the exact opposite of Sam Wankman, Scamber Fried. He did a great job. And they saw over, $4 billion. They lost 1.4. There was a run on the bank, quote unquote, and it did it. So congratulations. But if these guys can get hacked, everybody's getting hacked. Then on top of that, this was just yesterday, a company called Infini loses $50 million, some new project that's coming out, and they lost $50 million in USDC from the crypto payments firm. How'd they do that, Rob? The perpetrators believed to have worked on the Infini project for contract development and secretly retained admin rights after the project was completed. And these guys are pros. They should know better. But it's not just that. It's the people that, and we talked about this at length, the guy from Chicago, him, two members of his family, and the cleaning lady were wrench attacked, or they were kidnapped. They were kept hostage for 5 days, and they drained $15 million. The co-founder of Ledger, kidnapped, him and his wife. They drained from him $9 million, or actually no, even more than that. And the people got away with it scot-free, except for a couple that were caught, but the rest of them were just gone. So, and then of course, my personal friends have been attacked and they've lost everything. And then I just heard of a story just yesterday of a person who lost $250,000 on the same thing for a hack. And these are the ones that we hear about. I'm not so concerned about this market. It's the people that are going to lose a ton of funds because they're going to get scammed. They're going to do everything right and they're going to screw up one place. So moving forward, I'm going to be focused a lot on not just like taking profits like we talked about, but I need to be focused more on safety and drill it into everybody's head to make sure that they're 100% safe. One of those things we're going to start talking about is keeping an extra computer or pad that has no access to the internet whatsoever. And we're going to start using that as our vault. The second thing I'm going to start talking about is putting our funds into an ETF. Before anybody blows up at me, I mean, you can, it's your God-given right. I mean, freedom of speech, that's fine. But I'm just going to tell you, if we're here to talk about diversification and people say, well, that's what I'm here for, why wouldn't we do a little bit of diversification? You can disagree with me in the comment section, but I can tell you right now, I'm going to go down that route and it's not going to be everything, but I'm going to see how this all works because I am not here to be losing funds after all this time. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talked about is time sensitive. Now let's get into a little Q&A. I'll answer all your questions, and we'll go from there. Let's get into it. Blah. Okay. Can you give an update on the World Mobile SIM plan? Many thanks. Yes, Dominic. I actually received some information yesterday that I was supposed to do, and I got hung up on some things. And then today was just not a great day. So we're going to talk about that. Also, I have Josh Watkins from Minutes Mobile. We're going to be doing an interview, sit-down interview on Friday. So we'll give everybody an update on that because there's been some questions there. But World Mobile, there was a little bit of a setback, not a setback, or pullback, reintroduction of timeframes. And but they're still going to roll out their talk, text, and data plan. And I'll be switching over from T-Mobile to that plan as soon as I possibly can. And I'm going to put my phone where my mouth is. And we'll see how the service is. And I'll be the pioneer. All right. Volume going up a lot for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I like to hear that. Hey, there was something, Josh. I was going to show this to everybody, but that show took a long time. This was a good one. This is from Sina, 21st Capital, consultant, PhD at MIT, co-founder and CEO of 21st Capital. And talking about volume, he says on November 20th, the Bitcoin price first reached 96,000. 3 months later, we're at the same price. Well, this was a couple of days ago, so now we're like at 86K or something. But the difference is that the realized cap has increased from 700 billion to 860 billion. 160 billion of net new capital is absorbed in nearly 3 months, a whopping 22% increase in net new money. This is $1.7 billion every single day. Every day is progress. Don't get confused by temporary consolidation. See behind the curtain. Well, how does that work? It's because you got a lot of people who are selling and a lot of people who are gobbling up those prices. So there's a lot of volume increasing. And when that happens, then there has to be, and that's just to keep the price at bay, right? If you got a bunch of people, more people selling, then you're going to have more people actually buying it up. And I thought, well, maybe this is just a MicroStrategy play. And I took a look at it. And if you add this up, you go to Sailor Tracker over time, I want to say it's like over like 10 billion, somewhere around there over the last 3 months, like this thing talks about. Actually, no, I asked Grok this. Excuse me, it was 12 billion. It was 12.3 billion. MicroStrategy has purchased approximately 12.3 billion in the last 3 months, November 24th to February 24th. And I thought, well, maybe this is just the ETFs. And if we go from like the last 3 months or so, it doesn't equal the amount that they're talking about here, $160 billion of net new capital in nearly 3 months. That's everybody. So it's not just concentrated in the hands of the few, it is the many. So I take a look at the volume. That's great. That's what we want to see. People are absorbing this. The problem is we get these type of scare-off events and somebody thinks someone knows something else and they sell like crazy. That's fine. JM says, Rob, where do you personally purchase your ETFs? I have no idea. None. I got to figure that out. So I'm hoping to figure out where I'm going to buy these ETFs and have somebody on the show and explain that. So if anybody's got some suggestions, put them in the comments because I want to start doing that. And then everybody can tell me what a moron I am. You should never give it to ETFs, not your keys, not your crypto. Oh my God. End of the world. GP says Talos is up 8%. While everything else is red. Will Nate be back on the show? Sure, at some point. Nate's a busy guy. But Talos, that's a real force of nature there. I like to see that AI agent is always commenting on everything. Hopefully we don't become just overrun with AI agents. Hopefully it's people like, or it's agents like Talos, which is not annoying as hell. Tendai says, is the dump over? Only time will tell. There's a lot of people that are out there that are saying, yes, it's totally over. A lot of people are saying, no, it's going to get worse. I don't know. But I will say, if you wanted to really take a look and say, well, what do I do here? Why don't we take a look at some wristbands, shall we? All right. Don't tell Ben I did this. All right, so let's see. We're on dashboard. On the wristbands. Let's see, who's the, before I structure these, which one of these altcoins do you think is the riskiest to buy? And this is out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Doge, Cardano, Tron, Chainlink, Avalanche, Sui, and a host of those. Which one of those do you think is the riskiest as far as the risk bands go to buy? Oh, I'll wait. Everfox, Soul Chart, XRP, XRP, Sol, pretty close. Ben, you're watching your hours. Ben never watches this stuff. I just need the 1,000 of you that are here not to tell him that I did this. All right. So anyhow, so the riskiest is XRP. Was right on. And people say, why is that the riskiest? It's because it went up so fast. I mean, remember, it was sub $1 not too long ago. And then, of course, I want to say it was below 60 cents. And now we're at $2, $2.29. I remember it was over $3 not too long ago. So now as the risk bands adjust, you know, maybe you could say, I'm going to accumulate up to the risk band of 0.75, $2.59. Then I'm going to cool my jets until it hits the 0.9 at $3.93, maybe. Let's go back and see which one is the least risky. And the least risky, drum roll please, is Polygon. It's been the least risky for a while. I don't know what's going on with Polygon. It seems like it works. It's functional. It hasn't been hacked that I know of. Well, here's Polexmatic at 0.1. It's just a laggard. I don't understand why. Polkadot, one of the least risky. Toncoin, Algorand, wow. 0.27. Render, which was one of the hottest projects coming out for AI, built on Solana. And Sui, rounding out the top. Oh, actually Avalanche too. So hey, look at those. All right. Forget I said all that. Solana's riskiest. Solana is risky. There's been a lot of on-chain data that I was going to get into, but it's, I don't know. It's just, there's so many ways to manipulate that stuff. And a lot of things are being said that there's a lot of movement between exchanges and looks like they're getting rid of some of their Solana. Maybe they're just moving it. You know, we don't really know. Some people say we do know, and they are selling it like crazy because there's a March 1st unlock. And people will say, why do you even talk about the March 1st unlock? It's not that big of a deal. Sui is having an unlock. There's other cryptos that are having unlocks. I get it. But they aren't in the top 6, are they? I'm talking about the big one, which would be Solana. And it does, and you have to be aware of that. And I think there's a good possibility that Solana's going to dog out. So it's your decision. If you believe in the project, like I think it's a pretty good project. I'll probably buy some. But remember, I buy a lot of stuff, so it's not a big thing. So if you're like, wow, Rob's flooding my bags, you should be thanking me, quite honestly. Because if you believe in it that much, then you can buy it cheaper. You're welcome. And then BM, this is funny. And this is true. Citadel becomes a market maker. I think they shook the trees for liquidity. You know, Citadel is a market maker, and they're big, and they're legitimate to a point. We all know that there's a little bit of dark side to Citadel. There's been a great documentary on them. But yeah, they're going to be a market maker for Robinhood, I believe. And they want in even more so. I actually thought they were already a market maker for Robinhood. But I think this is them getting into crypto. So some people are saying that, well, Citadel is a big player in the game and they want to shake the tree and they want to reduce the prices so they can get in. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's a dark side to everything. Exactly. Hello. Thanks for coming, Nas. Appreciate it. If you make the law, you are legitimate. That's right. Just like people in war. The winners of wars write the rules, or write history, I should say. Yeah, so player. Why do people forget it was not too long ago? Solana was $8. This is still insane profit, not financial advice. It is, but let me see. Barachain. Solana itself, I mean, people always say it's, you know, remember it was $9 not too long ago. That was $2 almost 2.5 years ago. 2 years and 2 months, if you want to be specific. So yeah, it was that price. But my question is, did everybody buy Solana at $9? Or did they dollar cost average and maybe get some at, I don't know, $25? And you had all this time to accumulate. I would say more like $23. And because, like, let's say that you bought at $9 and you put $1,000 in, that's pretty good. But let's say you're like, I put $100 in, I got 10 Solana. All right, 10 Solana right now at $144 is $1,440. Is that life-changing money? No, it's not. It is for some people in some continents, in some countries. Yes, I get that. But $1,440 for a lot of places is going to have you struggling for even rent. And yeah, $23. And if you're dollar cost averaging, yes, that's great, right? That's true. But there's a lot of people that did not buy down here. They bought around here. And they're still at 50%. But this is a big drop, man. 30 days, you're down 43%. That's the big thing, player. That's the big thing. Fingers crossed isn't a strategy. That's true. You have to agree there. Rob buys a lot of stuff except a new car. My vehicle gets me to where I want to go. G says alts peaked already. Perhaps. And this has been quite a muted altcoin season, probably because everybody's gambling over in meme coin land. It's that, and then people are putting it mostly in Bitcoin. But look at this. This is from CoinGo Live. This is the percentage to its high. Bitcoin, I think out of the top 20, it's 24% away from its all-time high. Except for Leo token. It's 12%. All right. USDS is a stable coin. Mantra, the new one. In USD. So, but yeah, percentage to high. I mean, Ethereum is 101% away. Meaning it has to double from 2,400 to 4,878. This was 3 years. This is what I want to see. The date of the all-time high. Date of the all-time high for Bitcoin was just a month ago. Ethereum was 3 years. Ripple was 7 years ago. BNB was only 2 months ago. I'll be damned. Solana was 1 month ago. And it's down 108%. I mean, percentage to high. It's actually down 51.95%. 5 years ago, yeah, it's USDC. 3 years ago was Doge. ADA was 3 years ago. Look at ADA. 368%. It's down 79%. Man, that sucks. That's low. But hey, could bounce back. I own some. Hyperliquid. I mean, you can just see that not very many things are doing quite well outside the top 20 or so, top 10. I think it's going to be a very selective, muted altcoin season. But it'll still happen. All right. It's a good one. Roz says, nobody knows what goes up or down on short terms. The product is value long term. That's all that matters. That's true. And that was why it was getting so convoluted to find out. But this is why I liked 2021, because these new products that were coming out and they actually did things and they promised things. And it wasn't just a white paper like 2017. They actually had a team and a product and it was actually coming out there. I was like, this is great. And then this round just got me so, like, I tried to get into meme coins. I really tried to get into them. But man, they're fun at first, because it's gambling. After a while, you're like, is this what I'm into? Is this what I'm putting my life source into? Fart coin? I don't think so. Let's see. I bought it at the top. Nothing wrong with that, Plato. We've all bought it at the top. You know who else buys it at the top? Michael Saylor. And he says he's going to keep buying at the top. Good for him. Ooh, 12, 13 bucks is pretty good. AJ says, hey, Dan, I mean, Rob, with QT potential landing, I did see that report. That does look promising. Ending in June, as the Fed kind of hinted, does that set up for a right translated cycle? Wonder how far right the cycle can go. I don't know, but I remember Bob Lucas. First, he came out with a left translated cycle video saying that 2024 is going to be pretty much it, and we're going to top out there. Then he put another video out like a couple months later. He's like, no, I was wrong. It's going to be right translated cycle. And now I think more people are saying this is just going to be an extended cycle. I don't like saying extended cycles because I said that last time in 2021, and that did not work out. 2022 came, and then everything went down. But we'll see. I mean, look, if there's a recession without a massive amount of money printing, then things are going to change. We went through a recession with Bitcoin. It was in 2020. Remember that? Didn't last that long because we printed like crazy. But if you have a recession and it doesn't get resolved quickly, and if quantitative tightening does continue and quantitative easing does not happen, money printing, then these 4-year cycles are going to not come through. And that's what would make me a believer. Cryptos are us. Georgie thinks Solana will reach $1,000. Yeah, who knows? My price prediction for Solana is as such, and I've said this from day one. Solana will be anywhere from $1 to $50,000, $48,000, somewhere between $1 and $48,000. That'll be Solana, somewhere. I don't know. Alan has a point. Alan has a good point. The Hyundai Venue is quite possibly one of the finest cars ever created, especially in Puerto Rico. If you don't know or are bad at parallel parking in Puerto Rico, you are not going to make it. And you need a Hyundai Venue. Save us, Rob. There is no saving. It's all on you. You're just watching a guy in front of a really fancy green screen. And he's just telling you that this is just how it is. And just stick around. And I know like people say, but it's already over. I heard the same thing in 2020. I actually heard in 2021, in between April and November, when we went down, remember this? Like 45%? When it was this. And we went from $64,000 down to $30,000. And people were like, oh, well, that was it. And then altcoins really didn't pop off too much. So we're like, well, pack it in. That was fun. Sure. And that didn't happen. And then, of course, after 2017, after that collapsed, I heard that this is a joke. This is internet nerd money. And people have to get away from this because it's just a scam. I was like, nah, I see where the magic is. I see that things are actually working and altcoins can work. I think it just gets repeated. Hey, awesome. Andrew Harling, I've been taking your advice and taking profits on along the way. Sol's been awesome. Outperformed Bitcoin by a long shot. True. And it works out pretty well when you took those profits. You know who did a great job? Wes over at Smart Money Tracking. Crushed it. He sold all his alts for 80% last month. Buy order on Sol at 127. If we dip down, that's pretty good. Kaya Rax, alt season around the corner. Sure. Charles has a big dinner this week. Might pump our bags. Let's hope it's with the President of the United States or with David Sachs. One of those two. I'll take it. Now, John says, I took a little profit, but nowhere near enough. I was up on Sol when it hit all-time high, but fooled myself that it was going to go higher. Got greedy and listened to my gut. Sometimes it works out. You know who the best trader is? My wife. She just looks at it and goes, oh, I'm up a certain percentage. I'm just going to take profits. And then that's it. And she's like, I'm like, yeah, there's some really good things going on. She's like, I don't care. It's up this percentage. I'm taking profits. And it works out pretty well. The one time she messed up was when she's like, I know in my gut I should take profits because I'm at that threshold, but I think it's going to go higher. I'm like, that's not what you usually do. She's like, yeah, but this time is different. I was like, ooh, okay. And then that was essentially the top, and she missed it. That one time. Other than that, she's been spot on. Reiko says, your answer about predictions suck, bro. Honestly, you think it's funny. No, I think it's accurate. Because Reiko, all of these predictions are stupid. All of them are dumb. Everybody who tells you that there's like this dollar amount at some point based on this TA, based on this is what it is, it's all percentages. And they may be right. They're like, well, I just pay the odds. It's 56%, I'm right. And 44% I'm long. Who cares? I could give you that. I could give you like something that I could say, well, based on fractals and based on this overlay and based on by the exponential moving average, I can say that maybe at this point we're going to top out at Solana at $723. Who cares? So yeah, I think it's funny. I actually like saying it because I'm so sick of people talking about this is a prediction, this is what it is. And this is when there's going to be a fire for altcoins. And this is when these people release the Bitcoin bulls. And this is when it's going to explode. And I'm like, I understand everybody's giving hopium. I got it, right? But at some point, everybody gets really burnt out of that crap. And they just got to put their feet on the ground and just realize that all this stuff, nobody knows exactly what it is. And they're giving you predictions and probabilities and maybes. So no, I do think it's funny. All right, next question. Now the world leaders are rugging us. Yeah, I mean, Javier Milei, he says he wasn't involved, but I mean, he was a part of it and he has to be held responsible. And then of course, Donald Trump did the same thing. Melania also. I don't think she was really a part of it. And, whatever David Portnoy was into. So yeah, it's pretty bad. We need my wife's sold videos. Good afternoon. Smithologist says, I think it's sad people are losing money, but finally they're complaining about it. Let me tell you guys this. You haven't lost anything. You haven't lost anything unless you've sold. There's an exception to that rule. And this was what we talked about on Sunday with Jerry Hall. There was a gentleman, I forgot his name. He had went from $313,000 in SOL to $67,000 because he used leverage. And he was sure on a trade and it didn't work out. When you play on leverage, 10, 25, 50x, whatever else it is, you can lose it that quickly. So in those cases, you are going to lose money. And that's why I have, the rules that are set here. And I put these up there, not because I like to waste my breath, but it's because this is the ones that have helped me get to where I'm at right now. And there's a reason why people get bent out of shape when I give price predictions, because they really want to know. And it's ridiculous because all you got to do, quite honestly, is not be greedy, take profits along the way, treat everything as a scam, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Michael Saylor would say, invest money that you can afford. Invest money that you can't afford to lose. I happen to disagree because I don't know about you all, but I'm not a billionaire and I can't take loans out on my stock and buy a bunch of Bitcoin. And then, of course, the only things are on exchanges. So I don't think I never laugh when people, are upset, because I get it. When I was in 2018, I was pretty bummed out that it went the opposite way of where I thought it was going to go. And, I just said, well, I still have belief in this technology, so I'll just do this thing called dollar cost averaging, which I picked up along the way. And it worked out pretty well. And here we are 8 years later. Wow. How big is your house? It's not that big. How about big on this dip? Yeah, selling one's a lot. 700 Bitcoin. Peter O'Connell says, Sailor's buying with other people's money. He doesn't give a damn, but his cost basis is creeping up. It's a good point. Ed says, nice dump means I'll be around a while longer. Yeah. Oh, Rob, you Democrat, you. I am neither. I can't even vote for the president of the United States because I live in Puerto Rico. Are you still DCAing? No, I am not right now. I'm waiting for things to either crash mightily. Because remember, I've been basically living on a very anemic bank account and purchasing crypto on the way. Now, I've taken profits along the way, and we've talked about why and when I've done those. Specifically, different real estate projects and things that I just could not pass up. Then I'm happy. Gives me freedom. And, there's another, I made some sales recently, but that was because I had to help out family. And that's the greatest thing you can do. Let's see. Yeah, Rob, you got to stay. Rob is a carabiner. True. Timbuktu says, should I buy iBit or MicroStrategy? This is for the 401k. Buy both. Diversify. MicroStrategy is kind of like a proxy. iBit is essentially trends. And it outperforms. It has outperformed Bitcoin, but we'll see how long that can keep going. I don't know. Hey, Rob, my dad says hello. The funny guy. Awesome. Andrew says, not MicroStrategy. I own some MicroStrategy. It's worked pretty well. Let's see. Rob, are you going for the World Mobile Global Plan if you're in Puerto Rico? Whatever the top tier is, I don't care what it is. I'm just going to get the best one I can and then test it out and then tell you guys all about it. There's something undemocratic about not being able to vote for the president while living in PR. I can vote for the governor. That's always good. Good times, yeah. And I think that's it. Well, except for this one. Rob, since I was buying DCAing the last 3 years, when I sell part of my coins, which tax I have to pay, long-term or short-term capital gains? This is a very segmented question, minute question. And really it comes down to, are you using FIFO, which is first in, first out, or are you using FILO, first in, last out? How did you set that up? Do you have a CPA? Who's doing your taxes? These questions cannot be answered by me, of course. I'm not a CPA or a professional in any way, shape, or form as far as with finance, but there is a link in the description for CoinLedger, and you can do all your, you can do all your taxes there, and it'll tell you which one is long-term and which is short-term, depending on how you set up FIFO, FILO. And then as a reminder, I think some of the reason why we don't sell is because maybe we don't know how much we are actually in profit as far as our cost basis. Does everybody know their cost basis for every crypto that they actually own? If you do not, might I recommend the free service at CoinLedger for their portfolio tracker. And you see, if you go to CoinLedger, links in the description, you can put where it says start tracking for free. And this is a dummy account. This isn't my account. But you can see, like, here's the example. You just stick in your public address for Bitcoin, right? Don't worry, it's your public address. It's going to be all right. Actually, I'll give you my public address. If you want to send me in a Bitcoin, I'm all game for that. So it'll tell you, okay, like this. Okay, 2.57. You have 2.57 Bitcoin or whatever you've got. And it'll show you like when you bought it, especially if you integrate with your centralized exchange. And it'll tell you the cost basis, 31,247. The cost basis is 22,000 per Bitcoin. So your unrealized gain is 210,000, meaning you can sell that. You can sell $210,000. That's your unrealized return on investment. And then it'll tell you like this. Hey, you bought Link here. You're a little bit in profit. Then above Link is Polygon. Sorry, you're out of profit. And if you think you want to sell that, you're going to be in the red. You can do that, but maybe you want to take a look at this stuff first. So if you'd like that, just go to coinledger.io. And that's it for today. Everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. What we talk about is time sensitive. And again, we're going to start talking about ETFs. We're going to start talking about using essentially non-internet computers and a separate computer to keep our vaults safe, because I can't have anybody else getting hacked. This is getting out of hand. And if we don't do something now, I'm afraid people are going to lose out more. So that's it for today. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate you. See you in the next one. Adios.